knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're an Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I would slap you.
Go ahead, make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Okay, welcome to the third hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show, uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. If you don't know by now, they are now calling the mandate a tax. So they upheld the mandate by calling it a tax on the Obamacare. I don't know if you remember back in 2009, Obama was talking to George Stephanopoulos on ABC News when he said that the individual mandate is not a tax. But the U.S. Supreme Court has decided that it is a tax. Oh, the swing vote came from, quote unquote, the conservative Justice John Roberts. Many thought that it would be Kennedy, but it was Roberts who went with the liberals on this one. And very disappointing. It is still unfolding, but as of right now, Obamacare stands. Patrick Rooney is here, behind the headlines guy, one of the smartest white men on this side of heaven. He's here every Tuesday in the third hour. He's here to help us understand and sort out what really happened there. I just want to read to you before I go to Patrick some of the responses that we're getting concerning the U.S. Supreme Court's decision. This is from Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh tweeted, "All right, don't panic. This just means that the November election is even more important. We got to win the presidency, the Senate, and the House. Let's get this done." That's from Rush Limbaugh. Let's get it done. CNBC, this is from CNBC. Stocks tumbled 1% after health care ruling.
Well, let's dig in a little bit to what Rush said, and we were saying the same this last. He must have been listening to us last.
Yeah,
hour.
that's why he.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
This really puts into focus the whole elections. And we talked about last hour. We talked about Mitt Romney, how important it is for this guy to step forward and say, "Okay, day one, we're killing this bill. We're getting rid." Now, maybe they can't completely kill it, and maybe it does need to. I'd have to look into this further. It needs to be killed completely by going through Congress. Okay, well, now's your reason. Yeah, you strengthen the hold the Republicans have on Congress, and you make a Republican Senate. So you have the whole enchilada in the power of people who've got some reason. Now you've got something. You've got a president, you've got a Senate, and you've got a House. So I think that in some ways it really helps the whole electoral process to focus people on how important this is.
Yeah, it does. This is from NBC Washington. Virginia Attorney General said, "This is a dark day for the American people, the Constitution, and the rule of law. This is a dark day for American liberty." I couldn't agree more.
Jesse, and looking at the Supreme Court and the people out there gathering around, it really occurred to me that the Bush-Gore mess that we had, remember when Bush beat Gore in 2000? And then Gore said, "They cheated, they cheated."
They never did let that go.
And they caused the people to go after each other in such a way. That may be dwarfed by this year's election. After all the stuff that's going on between the liberals and conservatives, it's going to fire up both sides, and you're going to have a really nasty, if we didn't think already the elections were going to be nasty.
Oh, it's going to be rough.
It's going to we just put another, we just turned up the heat another 100 degrees. We also have Boehner. The Speaker of the House, Boehner, is supposed to be speaking, I think, momentarily. So let's see what I'll be nice to him. Let's see what Mr. Boehner has to say about this.
I hope he doesn't cry. He's probably going to feel like crying. I hope he doesn't cry.
What if he came out and he was crying?
I'll be done. It'll be over for me. One other thing that's happening today is that the Congress is holding a hearing on a contempt hearing on Eric Holder, the Department of Justice today, and they're supposed to be debating all day. It should end around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Congressional Black Caucus met in a private meeting with members only, and they are plotting to walk out on the vote, and hold a press conference in support of Eric Holder.
Can the door be locked afterwards? Then we have another victory.
I know. I wish there was a way when they walked out and they all stand on the platform there together,
right?
And the platform have like a little door, and you can unlatch that door and let them all fall right into hell and close the door back.
Fall back into hell from where they came.
Yeah.
You know, this day can actually be not an entire loss, because it is very possible that at the end of this day, the Congress will vote to have Eric Holder in contempt of Congress. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are at least 20-plus Democrats who are prepared to vote with the Republicans to give him contempt.
But if the Congressional Black Caucus should walk out, will they still hold the vote?
I don't know for sure. I would think they would, because how can someone just walk out and stop a vote from happening?
And they should just have it anyway and just consider those people as being absent or something.
Yeah, they're just no votes.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me that the Congressional Black Caucus is so wicked that they're willing to not repudiate a man that they know is wrong.
Right.
They are publicly, and these are like lawmakers, they are publicly saying that we're not going to get you if you're black and Democrat. We're going to be on your side, knowing that you're wrong, knowing that you hold a top job in the country when it comes to protecting the people by way of law. And we're not going to do anything about it. If it was a white man Republican, they'll be all over this thing.
What's weird about the age we're in, Jesse, is that everything is so obvious and extreme now. You know, the Obamacare is so obviously a takeaway of your individual rights to force you to buy a product. And Attorney General Eric Holder is such an obviously evil man, a wicked man, who will not stand up for anyone unless if they're other colors than black, God help them, he will not stand up for them. And everyone knows that.
I want to know how would this decision by the U.S. Supreme Court affect businesses now?
Well, look at with the stock market. They dropped 1% just because, and these are the top businesses. The Dow Jones is the top businesses in the country.
888-775-3773, 888-77-JESSE.
So you're a philosopher? Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
We're talking about the U.S. Supreme Court decision this morning, handed down already, in that the mandate is not called mandate, it's called taxes, but it's still mandate. Breitbart.com editor-at-large Ben Shapiro tweeted, "This is the greatest destruction of individual liberty since Dred Scott. This is the end of America as we know it. No exaggeration."
Right. And what Ben clearly means is if the federal government can do this, there are no boundaries. Yeah. There are no and even, speaking of George Washington, he said the government is like fire. You have to control it, and if not, it becomes a fearful master. And these guys are right. I wish somehow we could imbue back this kind of common sense that the founding fathers had. We really need it today more than ever.
Well, the way that these people are able to get away with this, too, the government, is that they are managed over the last 50 years to demoralize Americans.
For us to say that you've got to take a responsibility to get health insurance is absolutely not a tax increase. What it's saying is that we're not going to have other people carrying your burdens for you, any more than the fact that right now everybody in America just about has to get auto insurance. Nobody considers that a tax increase. People say to themselves, that is a fair way to make sure that if you hit my car, that I'm not covering all the costs.
But it may be fair, it may be good public policy.
No, but George, you can't just make up that language and decide that that's called a tax increase. If I say that right now your premiums are going to be going up by 5 or 8 or 10% next year, and you say, well, that's not a tax increase. But on the other hand, if I say that I don't want to have to pay for you not carrying coverage even after I give you tax credits that make it affordable, then...
I don't think I'm making it up. Merriam-Webster's dictionary. tax, a charge usually of money imposed by authority on persons or property for public purposes.
George, the fact that you looked up Merriam's dictionary, that the definition of tax increase indicates to me that you're stretching a little bit right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone to the dictionary to check on the definition.
Well, no.
I mean, if what you're saying is...
I wanted to check for myself, but your critics say it is a tax increase.
My critics say everything's a tax increase. My critics say that I'm taking over every sector of the economy. You know that. Look, we can have a legitimate debate about whether or not we're going to have an individual mandate or not. But
you reject that it's a tax increase?
I absolutely reject that notion.
You heard that, folks. That's from the president's mouth. U.S. Supreme Court said today it is a tax.
Apparently, John Roberts thinks it's some kind of a tax increase.
No, that was Barack Obama talking to Stephanopoulos back in 2009. It is a tax increase. Sarah Palin tweeted, Obama lied to the American people again. He said it wasn't a tax. Obama lies, freedom dies. Sarah Palin.
Said it before, I'll say it again. Sarah Palin is a better man than almost any other Republican out there.
Yeah, she called it as it is. Right. Let's go to Mike, San Antonio, Texas. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson, folks, 888-77-53773.
I'm wondering, and I think I have to kind of ask this question to you Tuesday, but I find myself even concentrating less on trying to inform the clueless who don't want to be informed, because if you didn't listen to 2 minutes of Jeremiah Wright and didn't know who Barack Obama was, you just didn't really want to.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this culture is becoming so toxic. Is it really worth, I'm not trying to say that people can't change, but is it really worth our energies anymore to keep telling them what they already really know, than to try to, concentrate on your children and the people that are around you, to be able to have the strength, because there's going to be some trauma and there's going to be some turmoil. I mean, we can't keep doing this thinking the Lord just going to ignore it. And do you feel like maybe 75-25 is the right ratio of concentrating on your family as opposed to trying to? Because I honestly get physically, mentally, and spiritually drained by talking to people who don't care.
Well, in terms of, let's say, the radio show that we're doing, I think that it's got several purposes. You have a purpose for the people who are with you to give them more courage, because the people who are with you have varying strains of how committed they are. And I think what Jesse does every day is he transmits courage to other people who already agree. That's one thing that he does. The second thing is trying to reach those people, and they're still out there, and they're independents. A lot of them voted for Ronald Reagan back there, way back when, and they're not altogether gone away. The people who you try to change because they've got some sense in them, and then the dead, and the dead, the dead are only good for laughs. I'm sorry to say that, but there's some people that are just good for laughs.
Smoking pipe.
Pot. And in terms of family and all that, of course, the family is the main thing. But also in terms of family, in terms of defending your family and defending, it's very important. Politics becomes very important, because you call it whatever you want, the last stand, the Alamo, whatever you want to call it. This election is the last stand. This proves it. Today's proves that this coming election is the last stand, and it matters for your community and your family, because whatever government you end up with after this election, and it won't be perfect no matter what happens, but we can work with it. Whatever government you have is going to be the future, and quite possibly the end of America. If the government that we have now, Obama, stays, it's done. So if family things get a lot tougher after that. But if you put some Romney in, you have a chance.